a beautiful day from somewhere in sunny South Carolina. We're on a wood path, riding somewhere in a swamp. That's right. It's just great. You look at this turn. Ah, don't fall down. The Madone tires almost slipped on them 28s. It's a little wet on this wood.
There was nothing more that he wanted for me than to ride bicycles with him. Going out and riding bikes was going riding bikes with Dad.
It was just obvious that he loved me. I don't want to graduate and not have my dad there.
My name's Aisha Shipp, and Michael Shipp was my husband. The person I am here today is because of who he was and what influence he had on me. And I'm really grateful, but I miss him. Yeah.
Anyway, this is awesome. I hope y'all have a great day. Woo!
So that video was in Manning, South Carolina on February 16th at 1:44. It wasn't long after that I had an alert on my phone saying that Michael had been involved in a hard fall. Mike and I started dating in the spring of 1988. That summer, I was still just a baby. I was 15, and he actually asked me to marry him out on the beach here in Ocean View. And of course, we didn't tell anybody. We didn't get married right then, but we did end up getting married before I graduated from high school. This was Mike's studio, his creative place, his place where he did not have to tidy anything up. It was exactly the way he wanted it. But this was also a place that we would come together and listen to music, and specifically we'd listen to records, and we would have the lights low, and we would sometimes have glasses of wine. So I just I have them. We had candles. We would kick back, drink some wine, listen to music, and just talk. He had been playing music quite a bit, and he was in a band. He worked also all on Saturdays and Fridays, but he also worked during the week at a bike shop at the time. When he opened up his own bike shop and I began to watch him, I was really surprised, like how much expertise he had and what great people skills he had.
When he opened up his shop, that was what he was meant to do. The enthusiasm showed, and that just never waned. I'm Liz Schleeper. I met Mike back in the early 90s when he worked at a local bike shop.
About 20 years ago now, I guess it's been. I came here and he gave me a job, and I've been here ever since. My name is Steve Gregerson. This shop here that we're in now is the last place that he really set up, and it was kind of like where he hung out, to the end, until he went on the trip that he went on and everything happened. And he was here most every day, and all the pictures and everything that's up, nothing's really been changed. Everything he did, laid everything out, and we haven't really changed much of it. I haven't changed much of it. There's things he put on the wall that I just leave there, and just to kind of remember, it. So.
But sometimes when I was younger, I would go and help him at the shop. That's any little business management that I know was from when I was like 10. And Dad would let me. He had a little code for me, and I was able to scan things, and it was, I thought it was really cool.
His enthusiasm, and he just had a thing for people just liked him. He could take an angry customer and turn him into a lifelong customer in like 5 minutes. I mean, I didn't get it. I'm still working on trying to get it.
There were a couple more shops here and there, but he's the one that's kind of been there through it all. And it's still going strong. So I'm very happy to see that. Seeing Elijah taking the lead on some of this stuff. So that's really cool to see.
We raced a lot. We used to travel all the time together. I mean, that was our thing, was going to places and racing up until I was 16, and then I decided I wanted to get out. Some of a burnout, but he was always there supporting me. I mean, I'll go back and look at his Facebook page and just see all the pictures of us together. All the podium pictures, sprint finishes, all that kind of stuff.
He was very generous. He would go out of his way to help people in the community, just with like random things. Sometimes it could be with giving out lights. I know Bike Norfolk, they do, I think, a light night.
Bike Norfolk is a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization, and we formed to advocate for things cycling related in Norfolk specifically. In 2011, he was one of the first people at the table to form this organization.
The bike light giveaway happens once a year. So we'll ride around, and essentially we'll do it after dark. And if we see anybody riding around without lights, we would stop and put lights, scare them to death. But we stop them and put lights on their bikes so that they are visible, because visibility is a huge part of, making sure that you're seen, so you're hopefully not going to get hit.
My dad asked me if I wanted the shop, and at the time I said no. And it was really stupid decision. I regret that every day, not telling him, yes, let's do this, we got it. Because he wanted to take a step back and travel more, and just be on the road, ride his bike everywhere, play music in places. I don't even know what his full plan was, but yeah.
I mean, everybody knows these guys go down to Florida every year. You talk about the A-team. All right, that's not something I was invited to. So Florida is the, place where fast people go here in Hampton Roads. And for winter training, and there were different iterations of the Florida trip. And so I know several people that go on that trip or a similar trip every year.
That day I scheduled all my annual appointments. So I was sitting in the dentist's office when he tried calling. I was like, I'm in the dentist chair, can't talk. And so he texted me his plan. He stopped at a Anytime Fitness, was working out, then going for a quick ride, come back, get a shower, and get back on the road and head to Florida.
My dad's Apple Watch called 911. We all got messages on our phones.
I began to text Mike and call, and at that point, someone answers. The person who answered the phone was the coroner.
And then the next thing I get is a text from my mom saying me and my sister need to come home now. And she sits us down and she says, Dad's no longer with us.
Highway Patrol Communications, Turner.
Yes, hi, this is Clarendon Dispatch. Calling in reference to 1050 versus pedestrian on Sumter Highway in the area of 2501. Subject is not breathing at this time.
It was a sunny day. He was riding back towards his car less than a mile away, and a young man was driving. For whatever reason, he admitted to looking down, then looking up, and had hit my husband. The force of the impact ripped Mike's helmet off, and somehow, I guess, Mike's body hit the windshield, so the windshield there's a big hole and the helmet landed inside. Mike must have been thrown back and landed on the pavement up and over. And so he was, they think, killed on impact.
That's Mr. Gene Morris. He rides bikes all the time, so he was looking. He said you could see even farther up.
I'm Gene Morris, from Clarendon County. Been a resident here since 1982. I've seen a lot of death in my career, probably too much. And I've lost friends that were cyclists and law enforcement, training, getting ready for our law enforcement rides that lost their lives. But to see one in person, to see someone that's dressed in a bike uniform, laying in the middle of a highway, but it almost like it's you laying there.
I started out trusting that they're really going to look at this. You know, when the state trooper said, just call me, I'll call you back. Maybe not immediately, just give me some time. He never called me back. And, you know, that doesn't give me a lot of confidence. At one point I had a conference call with some different attorneys in the Solicitor General's office who said, this never officially came to our office. People were just, you know, you need to talk to this person who's not available.
My name is Pete Surratt. I'm a retired law enforcement officer, and I love to cycle. We kind of felt like that she needed somebody, you know, to kind of reach out and say, hey, what can we do to help?
They told me things, and you know, there were certain things, like there were no skid marks for stopping. I asked for his clothing because I wanted to know what he was wearing, and they said that they'd gotten rid of them. They weren't salvageable. I already lost him. You know, those last items of clothes, the last shreds, the last bits of blood, they were his, and they were mine. It rained as I was driving in and washed away like the blood on the pavement. And it almost felt like a slap in the face, even by nature itself, that, you know, this happened.
Right now, we're looking at too fast for conditions. Don't know if he was messing around with a cell phone. He said he looked down. We've got a clear sight distance. I mean, if you're looking up, paying attention, you know, he should be able to see us. So, like I said, I don't know if he was messing with a cell phone or if he looked down to check time or something. But when he raised his head back up, you know, he ran to the back of the bike.
He was ticketed for driving too fast for conditions. That's the best they could do. It's a ticket, which when we went to traffic court, his attorney argued he's paid the fine. You know, this will be a waste of South Carolina's time. What kills me is the echoing of his words, nothing will come out of this, nothing will come out of this. And that's probably my greatest fear, is that nothing will come out of this.
The only thing that we were able to do was to move it from a traffic court.
There is a law in South Carolina, if any minors involved in any traffic situation, infraction, that the case can be moved over to family court. They fought it in traffic. They're probably going to try to fight it, I'm guessing, in family court.
So the defense attorney is in Spain right now, and apparently they contacted our lawyer that the case wasn't going to be happening today.
Our case was not on the docket, and so basically we're told that the case was continued. I had followed up with my attorney prior to this, and we were not notified. Basically, the defense attorney is on vacation. Honestly, I think that they're trying to wait us out. How long? How long? And that's my question. How long?
The longer it stays out there, the less likely it's to be forgotten. The more this side can drag it out, chances are this person's just going. And that's the system.
I'll be coming back. I can't shake the dust of this town off of me. I don't want to.
The guy who killed my dad, this wasn't his first incident of hurting someone by a car.
This wasn't his first offense. A little over a year and 2 months before, he had had a head-on collision with another vehicle. He crossed 3 lanes of traffic, hit this man head-on. The man says that he saw him on the phone.
He was texting in the first accident, according to the other victim.
But he still had his license, and even that case is not completely finished. The first attorney who was helping me, I mean, he really, every time I talked to him, it was so discouraging because he was like, do you have the funds to pursue this?
You know, it just it's really confusing to know that we have an opportunity to be on the roadway by state law. But if we're struck doing what we're supposed to be doing legally, you know, what's the recourse? You know, what's the repercussions?
Today would have been our 34th anniversary. So Mike's missed 2, the 33rd and the 34th.
It's not a South Carolina issue, it's a United States issue with cyclists. But I do think that legislation needs to change, and I'm speaking as a cyclist, that drivers need to have a little bit more penalty assessed to them when a cyclist is struck, injured, or they lose their life.
I've got his wheels on my bicycle. After we got his bicycle back home, I started taking a look at it, seeing what I could salvage, so it could feel like I'm on his wheel. And then I warrantied his other wheel, got a brand new one, and threw some of his old seats on my bike. Feels like I'm right there with him.